Hi, this is Rob with the Greeting Card Designer. One of the most common questions I get through the help email is how do I print text on the inside of a card? So let's go ahead and run through that because it's really quite a simple operation. Right now I've opened up Photoshop CS4 and I've laid out a greeting card, and this is one that was laid out actually for the introductory tutorial. And this card, as you know, comes in several different layers when it's laid out. I have the image, the text layer, and the signature layer. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and use this layout. It's a 5 by 7 inch card, so it's going to be printed on a 7 by 10 inch card stock. First thing we want to be able to do though is find out where the fold is going to go. So with the rulers turned on and the move tool, I'm going to go up to the ruler, click and drag, and I'm going to drag a guide down to the 5-inch line. And that's going to show me where the fold is. Because once I turn all these other pieces of information off, it's going to be easier for me then to lay out the text in the proper area. So I've put the guide in there. It's halfway down where the fold is. I now turn off, just clicking the eyeballs, I turn off all the pieces of information, the images, for example, the signature, the salutation, and the image itself. I leave the background turned on just so it's easier to see, but I now have a plain white card. What I'm going to do now is just simply zoom in a little bit so we'll be able to see the bottom of the card. And this is going to be the bottom part of the card. I select the text tool, and if you can add a text layer to a Photoshop file, you can easily add text to the inside of a card. With the text layer selected, go up to your options and select the options that you want. Select the font, the styling, the font size, and so forth, and even the alignment. In this case, I'm keeping the alignment centered, and I'm using a pretty large text of about 36 points. I'm then going to create a text box. As you know, when you lay out text in Photoshop, you can create point text, which is you just click and put an insertion point. In this case, though, I'm going to click and drag and create a box in which I'm going to add text. The key advantage of using a box like this is that you'll wrap the text. Once the text box is created, I then type in all of the text that I want to add. In this case, a nice salutation or a nice greeting. I click OK or commit to commit the text, and you'll notice that here, the text is a little bit high in the box. I'm going to take the move tool, click on the text, and drag it down to where I want it. And now it's centered nicely on the panel. I'm going to zoom out so you can see the whole card, and at this point all we do is simply print this card to the printer. Now if I turn the image on that was on the front of the card, you'll notice that the image and the inside text are both on the same panel. And so what you're going to want to do is when you look at the paper, when you load the paper in your printer, take a look at how the paper is aligned and what prints first, where the image prints in relationship to how it's loaded in the printer. And just make sure that when you turn the paper around, that this panel that you're going to print the text on is in the same location that the image was when you printed the front of the card. Now, a couple key points. Most of the papers that you're going to buy for cardstock are only coded for printing images on one side. That doesn't mean you can't print inside text. It'll print very nicely and look very crisp and clean. But you don't want to do images on the inside of the card because it's going to be the same as printing an image on just plain paper. There are some cardstocks that are double-sided, in which case you could do an image inside and out. If you want to do that, please make sure you remember you've got an unprintable margin that goes all the way around the paper. Once this is done, you'll have a card, image on the outside, text on the inside, and it's quite an easy operation. Hope this is helpful, and thanks so much.